For the 10th play of Christmas, my favorite game gave me Shadowcat and Hela, Ultron and Ms. Marvel, Mysterio and Nova, Waspy Tasky Master, Silly Pigs and Goblins, Storm and Sandman, Angry Wanda, Nebula and Drang, Rocket and Hood, and a Meg and 8 scary minions. Hello and welcome back to the 12 Plays of Christmas. My name is Josh, and in this, the 10th episode of the 12 Plays, we're going to be taking Shadowcat up against Hela in expert mode, and Hela has the Power Drain modular encounter set as well as the Sci-Fi modular encounter set from the Mojo Mania pack. And as you can see, the Buddy the Elf paper is back, so I must be playing in protection. Now, I have to say, out of all the games we've had so far, this might be the matchup I'm the most excited about. Hela is probably my favorite villain in the game, and I have really enjoyed Shadowcat since the X-Men came out, and I've really been looking forward to playing her again. And I'm especially pleased that she arrived in protection, because that is definitely one of her better aspects. She's just so incredibly powerful in protection. Her ability to defend without taking damage is just so easy to take advantage of. And since she's so powerful, I decided to try to go a different direction with my deck building. I went a little bit against type and tried to do some different things than what I've been doing lately. So we'll take a look here. The crux of the deck is really just going to be cheap defense events because, of course, when Shadowcat defends and she's in her phased form, she cannot take damage. And simply by playing a defense card with the defense designator, she counts as defending, so you don't have to exhaust. So it's very easy for her to be defending without expending too much effort. So I've got 3 copies of Defiance that will simply discard the boost card, hopefully help me avoid some nasty boost effects. Preemptive Strike will deal some damage back equal to the boost icons. And then Powerful Punch, just because it's so cool with Shadowcat. She can do some really kooky timing things with this that I'm really hoping to not screw up. And then along with those, I also have Counterpunch. So really the idea of the deck here is that Shadowcat has gone down into Hela's realm pretty much alone. Normally I like to bring a team of allies with me, and you'll see I've only included one because she's too good not to use with Kitty. But the theme of this deck is really just Kitty. Is all these cards are kind of depicting her just fighting back on her own as sort of a one-on-one. She's sort of sneaking into Hell in her intangible form is kind of how I'm picturing it in my mind. And so I see it as sort of a one-on-one fight. And of course we have Unflappable to draw a card when she defends without taking damage, because that should be pretty much every turn. I only included one hard to ignore to remove threat. The main scheme goes up to 18. It's not a very pressing issue. And one of the other things I'm doing against type is I'm really not planning on going to Alter Ego much. And that's largely because Kitty doesn't care that much about Alter Ego. Protection really doesn't care about Alter Ego. And even though Kitty has some Confuse in her deck, I could go to Alter Ego occasionally if I want to. It's not part of my strategy. So Hela shouldn't be scheming all too often. So I just have one to help just keep the main scheme under control, but I didn't want to put too much effort into it. I have 3 copies of Ready to Rumble just to go along with the theme of Kitty's going to be doing most of the fighting all by herself. These kind of go along with her Shadowcat surprise cards that also ready her. So I'm really hoping just to make use of her basic activations very frequently. I'm using 3 copies of Pin Down, a newer card that I'm really a big fan of. It's a 0-cost upgrade that goes on minions, and it just reduces their attack by 2. This will neutralize many of the minions in the encounter deck, the Sci-Fi ones, Electro, and even some of Hela's main guards here. So that way, if they're not doing anything to me when they're attacking, I don't have to waste damage knocking them out. So that's kind of the idea here. And you'll notice the cost curve is incredibly low. The Powerful Punches cost 2, but everything else is 0s and 1s. And that was intentional. I really wanted to keep this deck nice and cheap. Just feels like it's going to be moving fast is the idea. But I do have Jocasta at 3 costs because she is just so amazing with heroes that have really good defense events. She can get Quick Shift back for an extra use. So I had to bring her along, but no other allies. And I figure since she's a robot, maybe Hela won't notice when she enters her domain. And Endurance just for some extra health, because even though I should be defending and taking no damage, the Power Drain does have a decent amount of indirect damage, as well as some of the Sci-Fi cards. So I figure I might need a little bit of extra health, and Def Focus just because there are so many superpowers. I brought 1 copy of Defensive Energy because I do have 6 defense events that have a cost of 1, so this can pay for it and give me a card back. I was really tempted to bring 2 just because this is a cool card,
but one should be enough. And I only included one double resource. I wanted room in the deck for more effects. And the cost curve of this deck is just so low, I don't think I'll need them. You know, the Shadowcat Surprises cost 2, but she gets a free resource with her solid card, as well as the Deft Focus can also help to pay for that. And then her more expensive cards, the Phased and Confused and the Phase Strike, I'm not even that terribly interested in playing. So I think I can get away with not having the double resources, which just gives me more room in my deck for cards that actually do something. So that is the idea for the deck. And Hela, really quickly, if you haven't seen her, basically she has a guard and a side scheme. And then once you defeat them, you get another guard and a side scheme. Once you defeat them, you get another guard and a side scheme. Once you defeat the third group of them, you've basically descended to the bottom. And then you can rescue Odin. Once you've rescued Odin, you can defeat Hela. You can defeat Hela earlier in the game, and it will flip her over to her wounded side, which does have some benefits, but you can't actually win the game until you defeat Odin. So damaging Hela early in the game doesn't accomplish much, but it can be helpful at times, and you'll see that as we play. But I think that's all I need to say for us to get started. Let me shuffle up, and we'll get going. All right, should be just about ready to get started. Now, I'm really hoping for a clean game here. If you are watching these in order or as they come out, I made a fair number of mistakes in the Ms. Marvel Ultron play, and definitely a few more than I prefer I make in any given video. So I'm going to try to pay closer attention this time, but the timing of the way things work with Kitty, with the solid and the phase and the way they flip, that's something I'm a little concerned about. I'm going to try to pay extra close attention to because of how this works. The solid form says that after you attack or defend as a response, so it's optional, you can flip. And then if you attack or defend in phased form, you have to flip. And there are some interesting interactions with some of the cards that I'm hoping to play properly. So let's just go ahead and draw our opening hand and get going. Well, it doesn't get any better than that. Unflappable, Powerful Punch, Shadowcat Surprise, Jocasta, Preemptive Strike, and Pin Down. Definitely want to see Unflappable on the first turn. I'll try not to play with that. I'll try not to start with that in play for free. You'll know what I mean if you watch the last video. I definitely want Pin Down because I can just put it on Garm and then ignore him for a little while. I don't need Preemptive Strike in my opening hand. And I don't need Jocasta yet. I would have preferred her to be deeper into the deck, but so be it. And I don't really need these either. I wouldn't mind seeing a few more setup cards. So I've got Unflappable and Pin Down. Drawing 4 more, another Pin Down. Okay, Phased and Confused, Powerful Punch, and Phased and Confused. This opening hand started out looking pretty good and went downhill very quickly. So what I'm looking at, I've got Garm here with Toughness. I have to defeat him before I can remove threat from here. And then once I remove the threat from here, I'll go to the next group, and it's just this how it goes. Minion side scheme, minion side scheme. And as you defeat these and these side schemes go to the victory display, Hela gets more health and her stats get boosted. We're going to go ahead and flip into hero form. Just put the Pin Down on Garm, so he has -2 attack, so he won't be doing me any damage. I'll use another Pin Down to bring Unflappable into play, so when I defend without taking damage, I get to exhaust it to draw a card. One of my absolute favorite cards in the game. And unfortunately, just with the way my hand worked out, I can't really play anything else because I can't afford a Phased and Confused, and I can't play Powerful Punch unless an enemy is attacking me. The only option is, I suppose, instead of playing the Pin Down on Garm, I could have saved it for resource and put Phased and Confused on Hela, but I do really want that Pin Down on him, but I also don't want to end the turn with 3 cards in my hand that I can't use. So I guess I won't be cheesy and put the Pin Down on Garm after all. And I will just use these 3 to put Phased and Confused on Hela. Next time she attacks, this is going to cancel the attack, and then she will be confused. So it's sort of like Spider-Man's Webbed Up, but instead of stunning, it confuses. Shadowcat's going to go ahead and ping the Tough off of Garm just to get rid of that. Now that means if I want to, I can flip into my phased form, and I think I will. It's tricky because if I want to play Powerful Punch during the villain phase, it's best to play it from solid so that it switches you into phased before the villain hits you, but I've already seen 2 of them, so I think it's unlikely I'll draw the other, and even if I do, so be it. So I'm going to go ahead and flip into phase, so I'm already in phased form when the villain phase starts. So That's a big part of Shadowcat's game, is figuring out when to switch your forms to take best advantage. All right, go ahead and draw my cards. Get a Genius. There's the 1 double, Def Focus, nice. Counterpunch, Lockheed, and Shadowcat Surprise. Would have loved to have seen a defense event. I put 9 of them in the deck, so there are 11. So that's some bad luck. Going to be seeing a lot of those grouped up in one hand, probably. All right, so Odin's Torment is going up to 3 because Hela here has an acceleration icon, so we can't leave it there for too long. Hela wants to attack, but she is phased and confused, so that will discard this, and now she becomes confused. So if I want to go down to Alter Ego, I could, or I could just leave it there in case she gets a advance or something. Now, Garm's attacking me, and this is where I really was hoping I would have some kind of defense event, but I will go ahead and defend because I want to use Unflappable. So he attacks for 2, I defend for 2, but since I'm in my phased form, doesn't matter how much he's attacking, I cannot take damage in phased. And since I took no damage, I get to exhaust Unflappable to draw a card. I get Shadowcat Surprise. Got a couple of those. And then I just have my encounter card, which is, there you go, Advance. So I guess that worked out pretty well. I'm glad I ended up playing that phased and confused. And I need to remember, since I defended and phased, this flips automatically to solid. After Garm attacks me, I'll hit him back with a counterpunch, put 2 damage back on him, and then if I want to, since I attacked, I could flip back into phased form, but I don't currently have a good reason to do so, so I won't. And that takes us to round 2. All right, let's do a little bit more setting up. I'm going to use a Shadowcat Surprise to get Deft Focus out. That's going to help me pay for many of Shadowcat's cards. We're going to use the 1 double resource in the deck to bring out Lockheed when he enters play. If I'm in solid, which I am, I'm going to deal 2 damage to an enemy. So I'm just going to go ahead and take out Garmy here. So he goes to the victory display out of the game. And now I can remove threat from Hela if I want to. So I think we're just going to move forward as fast as we can. I kind of want to see if I can sort of rush Hela. I don't want to do too much of the hanging around. I want to see if we can just bring her down. So I'm going to exhaust solid for a resource for an attack event, as well as Def Focus to play Shadowcat Surprise. It deals 3 damage to an enemy. I'll go ahead and hit Hela. Brings her down to 6. She only starts out with 9 health, but she'll keep getting more and more health as the game goes on. Plus, it doesn't really matter if you knock her out, so that's why her health is so low. I mean, it matters some, but it doesn't win you the game. So I did 3 damage to Hela, and it also readies Shadowcat. Since I attacked, if I wanted to, I could change solid to phased, and I think I will. And then we're going to use Shadowcat to thwart for 2 and Lockheed to thwart for 1. We're just going to go straight after Hela. Then it says the first player reveals Gyalabrew and Scourge, puts them into play, deal each other player a face down encounter card. So I don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to tuck this under Hela to remind me that she's getting +1/+1, and she also gets 3 more hit points for each side scheme. So she's actually going to heal those 3 I damaged her, and now her maximum health will be 12. So this is probably foolish pushing her so quickly because she's only going to start hitting and scheming harder, but that's where I meant to put that. But it's just something I want to try because I think Shadowcat is strong enough to do it. Now, whether or not the deck I built is strong enough to do it is a different matter altogether. But so since we did that, that brings out Scourge is the next guard, and Gyalabrew is the next side scheme. This one has an Amplify, so it's a little bit worse probably than the Acceleration. And then he has Toughness and he has Piercing. We're not going to have Tough, so that's not going to matter. But he does have 5 health, so he's a little bit tougher than Garm was. And Gyalabrew has 4 threat on it. So yeah, I really like the arc of this scenario as it just gets harder and harder as it goes. But it is entirely possible to just build your entire board in the first part and then choose to move forward, and then you're so strong that it doesn't really matter that Hela has beefed her stats and stuff, but I'm going to try not to do that. We're going to try to push her as fast as we can. So we're going to draw a Powerful Punch, very nice. Defiance, there we go. Counterpunch, Airwalk, some threat removal, and the other pin down. I am liking the look of this hand. Now Odin's Torment only goes up by 1 because the acceleration is gone. Hela is attacking me for 2+1 because of the side scheme in the victory display. So I'm not going to defend, and she is attacking me, and then before the boost card is revealed, I'm going to play Defiance to discard the boost card, and that counts as a defense, so now I am considered defending. And we're just going to discard this. Oh, perfect. She would have gotten her sword for free, but now she doesn't. Nice. And since I defended without taking damage, I get to exhaust Unflappable to draw a card, get another Defiance, but I do have to switch to solid form, which makes me a little bit more vulnerable. All right, now Scourge is going to attack me, and this might seem like a waste, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to exhaust Solid for a resource to play an attack or defense event, as well as discard a pin down to play Powerful Punch. When an enemy initiates attack, deal 4 damage to that enemy. Now, all that's going to do is knock off its tough, but Powerful Punch is a cool card, but it is kind of a pain in that you have to play it during the villain phase when somebody's attacking you. Well, you don't have to play it during the villain phase, but you have to play it when someone's attacking you, which is, usually the villain phase. So it's what's in my hand, so I might as well play it just to get that tough off of there. But the nice thing about that is since it was an attack or a defense, I get to now change to phased form. I'm considered defending because of the defense keyword, so I take no damage from Scourge's attack. So I know 4 damage was a lot to knock off a tough, but at least I also am not taking damage from his attack. And then since I'm defending, I'll just go ahead and counterpunch him for 2, just to start working on knocking him out. And I only have a couple cards left in my hand. I'm going to draw my encounter card, which is Cut Off Guard. Oh, that's not fun. Oh, man. So I either have to lose my Def Focus or my Unflappable. Neither is an awesome option. I think my Def Focus is less valuable because I'll pretty much always be able to use Unflappable. This might not always get used. Ugh, that does stink, though. Okay, well, back to us. And I forgot again, I need to remember, when I did the counterpunch on Scourge, that caused me to flip back into solid form. That is really tricky to remember, but I think we're good now. All right, I meant what I said. I'm going all out. We're going to have Shadowcat attack for 2. Put 2 more damage on Scourge, bringing him up to 4 of 5. I'm going to use that to flip me into phased form. And then Lockheed is going to finish him off, which is going to discard Lockheed. Scourge is going to the victory display, which means the Gyalar Brew is exposed. And since I'm in phased form, I can discard Defiance to play Airwalk, remove 4 threat from a scheme if you're in phased form. So I think we're starting the 3rd turn, and I'm already in the 3rd rung of Hela's domain. This is probably a terrible idea. The first player reveals Hall of Nestron and Nidhogg and puts them into play. Deal each other player 1 face down encounter card. And then Hela's stats are now boosted by 2, and she's getting 3 more health, up to 12. Now we get Nidhogg, who has 6 health per player and 4 attack with Overkill. And, of course, it also has toughness. They all have toughness, which is a real nuisance for my deck. I'm going to have to waste things like powerful punches just to knock those toughnesses off. And then Hall of Nestron comes in that has the hazard icon, so probably really shouldn't have rushed right to this. But when I clear this, I get to detach Odin from the main scheme and take control of him. And then when I defeat Hela, I win. And that will also get every player in the game an encounter card when you defeat it. So just bought myself a whole bunch of trouble. Let's see if I can handle it. So I'm going to end the turn in phased form. Draw my 5. Preemptive Strike. Yeah, I was desperately hoping to see a defense event to make sure I don't take a big hit here. Don't care about some of these cards. There is no guard or crisis in this scenario, so a lot of Kitty's kind of signature stuff doesn't really apply here. Yeah, this intangible interference and the acute control will be completely useless in this particular scenario, so I'm just going to have to be using those as resources. And still haven't seen a Quick Shift, which is her best defense card. I was sort of counting on seeing some of those. So Odin's Torment is going up to 5. Yeah, if we do this fast enough, I won't ever even have to have bothered thwarting it. That's kind of cool. Hela is attacking for 2, 3, 4. And I'm just going to let that come at me. So it's 4 plus 1 boost icon. Well, that's not a lot, but I'm still going to go ahead and play Preemptive Strike to deal a damage back to Hela, canceling that boost icon, and more importantly, it counts as me defending. So Hela takes 1, down to 11. And I get to draw a card for Unflappable because I defended without taking damage, which is a phase strike. That'll be nice for taking out Nidhogg, possibly. I do have to go to solid form because I defended. And now Nidhogg is attacking me for 4, and I can't do anything cute here. I'm just going to have to take this hit or defend, and I don't want to defend. So we're just going to take 4 down to 5. Only started at 9, which is a little low. And I'm going to have 2 encounter cards. So this is where things could go very badly. If Hela attacks me again, I'm in real trouble. So we get the Blob comes out. He's a real pain to deal with, but he doesn't have guard or anything, so we can kind of ignore him. He only hits for 1. And Electro. After he attacks you, discard a card and take some indirect damage. Whee. Okay. So we've got a lot of minions in play all of a sudden. And me with not much health. Okay. Okay. Tell you one thing about playing this deck this way, I am really, really depending on whatever my hand is at the end of the turn, because I'm going into the villain phase, planning on doing most of my work there, and I don't know what my tools are going to be until I draw my cards. And if I don't get the right cards, for example, I don't know how I'm going to deal. Blob I can kind of ignore. He can hit me for 1, that's fine. But Electro is definitely somebody that needs to go. But I can't deal with him and Nidhogg on the same turn, and Nidhogg is hitting a little bit harder. So that is what we're going to focus on. I might have to run to Alter Ego just to hide for a second. But before we do that, we're going to have Shadowcat is going to attack Nidhogg to knock off his tough. I could change to phased form, but I'm not going to. But I will use the resource on solid, as well as these 2 upgrades that are never going to serve any purpose in this scenario. To play a phase strike, deal 6 damage to an enemy. I'm going to hit Nidhogg. And if I'm in phase mass form, I could discard, like if he had any kind of attachments, but don't care about that. The important thing is I'm not getting hit for 4 anymore. So he's knocked out, so he could start removing threat from here. I still have a Ready to Rumble in my hand. And if I wanted to, after that phase strike, I could flip into phased form since I attacked. I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to go hide in Alter Ego or not, because I'm about to take a lot of damage. I'm only at 5. I still need to remove 5 threat before I can start attacking Hela. Now, when I remove that 5 threat, I'm going to get Odin, and that's going to be nice. But so much of my offense is already gone. I've seen 2 of my powerful punches and 2 of my Shadowcat. All 3 of my Shadowcat surprises are already gone. Yeah. So attack is going to be a little bit harder to come by, so I'm probably going to draw just a whole bunch of defense events. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to stay up for at least this turn. If I draw enough defense events, I should at least for sure be able to block her. So I will flip to phased form, I guess is part of my point here, after I played the phase strike, because I want to at least be phased here. Hopefully I'll draw a quick shift. They're still doing the deck. That'll help me a lot. And then hopefully I'll get some more defense against those. That's what we're going with. Might play a couple quick games here if this doesn't work out. So I'm drawing 5 cards. There we got, yeah, both quick shifts. I had a feeling that was going to happen. But that will be okay. And then we've got another big attack. Can maybe take out Electro next turn. And this defensive energy, you really wanted that paired up with a preemptive strike or a powerful punch, and that didn't work out. Okay. Well, I'm glad I stayed in hero form, because I wouldn't have been able to do pretty much anything on my turn if I hadn't. So Odin's Torment is going up to 6. Hela is attacking for 2, 3, 4 plus a boost. When an enemy attacks, if you are in phase mass form, draw 2 cards. I am in phase mass form, so I will draw 2 cards, and I am now considered defending. So she's attacking me for 4, 5. I could preemptive strike for 1, but it's not worth it. I take no damage because quick shift made me defending. I do have to switch to solid form now. And I get to draw a card for Unflappable. Do not want to forget that. So I get Endurance. Oh, that'll be nice. I need the health for sure. So now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to defend against Electro in my solid form. So I take no damage. And then I'm going to flip to phased because I defended. And then it says after he attacks me, I discard a card and I would take indirect damage for each boost icon. Well, it's 0 either way. but I wouldn't have taken any damage because now I'm in my phased form and you can't take damage. And now Blob is going to hit me for 1. I'll just go ahead and play Quick Shift since I'm in my phased form to defend it. And I'll draw 2 cards. Ready to Rumble and Counterpunch. I could play a Counterpunch on Blob right now, but it's just not worth it. I doubt I'll bother trying to take him out. So, and since I defended, that will move me back to solid. I think I did all of that right. I'm not a Shadowcat expert, but I think all of those timings worked out properly. All right, starting the next turn, I have 8 cards in my hand. That's pretty cool. But most of them aren't able to be played right now. All right, to get started, I'm going to use a Counterpunch to get Ready to Rumble on the table. When I change forms, I get to discard that to ready. Then we're going to exhaust Solid for a resource, as well as these 2 defense events that aren't doing me any good right now, to do a Phase Strike on Electro, hitting him for 6. So that is going to knock him out. I'm going to use that to flip to Phased, and I'm going to use that to trigger Ready to Rumble to stand up. As much as I would love this health, I'm going to discard Endurance for a resource to play Airwalk, taking 4 of the threat off the Hall of Nastrond, bring it down to 1, and then we're just going to have Kitty finish it off. So we are just sprinting through this scenario. So I get to detach Odin from the main scheme and take control of him, and I also get an encounter card. But I would have gotten an encounter card from that scheme anyway, so that's fine. So we have Odin. He is on his captive side. If you play the campaign, you can get him to his king side, which is cool, but we are not. And so he has 2 thwart and 3 attack and a decent amount of consequential, but he is really going to help us, I think. And now Hela is available to be defeated, though when we added, this should have gone to the victory display actually, that gave her 3 more health. So she's up to 14, but now that we have rescued Odin, if we defeat her, we win. So we just have to do 14 damage to win. I'm going to go ahead and attack her for 3, bring her down to 11. And this is definitely the craziest game of Hela I've ever played. I've never tried just going at her as fast as I could, holding nothing back. And so far it's working. We're at 5 health. That's not great, but the main scheme's fine. We have Odin now, so we're good there. That's going to help a lot. So we're just going to ready up and see what happens. I am going to hold on to this defensive energy because I'm really hoping to draw, since I'm going to be reshuffling here, I'm going to have a few encounter cards, but I'm hoping to draw like a powerful punch or something I can use to play this with. So I'm going to hold on to this. So Hard to Ignore, Ready to Rumble, get another encounter card. All right, would love to see a powerful punch here. Defiance, okay, well, I'll take that. Preemptive Strike, okay. Those are still good cards. Those are going to help. Now, Odin's Torment is going up to 7 of 18. Hela's attacking for 2, 3, 4, 5, plus a boost. I can either play Defiance to discard the boost altogether or Preemptive Strike to cancel the icons and deal damage. And I'm going to go that route. Hopefully it's a high number and we deal some damage back. So we're going to go ahead and let her attack for 5. Ah, it's a 0. Darn it. This card, oh wait, this card gains boost icons equal to the number of side schemes in the victory display. Oh, it's a 3. Oh, perfect. So I'm going to use Defensive Energy to play Preemptive Strike. So that's going to deal 3 damage back to Hela instead of me taking it. I get to draw a card for the Defensive Energy and the Unflappable. Ho, 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 hello. Interesting. Okay. All right, now that after I've defended, I have to flip to solid form. And then I can go ahead and play Counterpunch after Hero Defense gets enemy attack. So after all of the effects of that defense are over, I get to deal damage back. So I'll hit her for 2. She's down to 6. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I can't play the powerful punch because that happens when they initiate the attack. We're past that now, unfortunately. I almost hope she attacks me again. So that was that. I'm back in solid. Blob is going to attack me for 1. Pretty sure I'm just going to take that. Yep. We are down to 4. And we have 3 encounter cards, so that could be a problem. But Hell's only at 6. We just got to survive these 3 cards. And let's see. Shock Therapy. Discard 1 card for player from the encounter deck, and then the villain heals 1 damage. Ugh. For each boost icon. So she's healing. Oh, hello, Longshot. He always shows up at just the right time. Thanks for jumping in the way of all that lightning, sir. Shadow of the Past. How about that? Well, let's take a look at the White Queen. So out she comes. She's villainous. While she's engaged with me, I am confused. And I also get her side scheme, and it doesn't do anything now, but when it's defeated, you have to go do a thing. Not a big deal right now. Comes in with 2 threat, and we're going to shuffle these 3 cards into the encounter deck. Okay, so far that's not interfering with our ability to win, because nothing has guard or anything. But we'll see what this last card is. Electromagnetic Pulse. Discard 7 cards from the encounter deck. If Electro is discarded this way, put him into play, engage with you. If not, it surges. Well, we know it's not going to hit Electro because we've already seen him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh gosh, so yeah, no Electro. So that means that's going to surge. So we're still, I'm only at 4. So if we get some kind of nasty card, I feel like I could lose. Like a gang up would definitely kill me. Under fire, 2 more cards. No, no, no. Stop it. I just want to win. Knock it off. Telepathic Restraint. Attach your identity. Oh, while this is attached to you, are stunned. No, 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 no. So Shadows. Oh, Shadows really wrecked me. So now I'm stunned. I have to pay 2 mental to get rid of it, and then I'll still have to clear the stun. Oh no. This was going so well. And my obligation. Are you kidding me? Shadows and the obligation of the Saint, and hers is terrible. So this flips to phased, and I can't attack, defend, or change. Oh, I just got completely locked down. I have to go to Alter Ego, exhaust to get rid of that. I have to exhaust to clear my stun. How did this happen? I was 1 card away from winning. Well, in order for Kitty to attack, I have to spend 2 mental resources to discard the Telepathic Restraint. So that's not happening. We have Odin. He can put 3 damage on Hela. We only have to do 6 damage. So I think what I'm going to do is just use a powerful punch to get it ready to rumble into play, I guess. Defiance to play. Hard to ignore. I'm just playing cards out of my hand because I'm going to flip to Alter Ego because Kitty can't do anything. She's stunned, she's confused, and she's permanently phased. So I have to go to Alter Ego. And I can exhaust her to get rid of this at least. And that is removed from the game. Odin is going to attack for 3, bringing Hela down to 3. He's up to 4 of 6 damage. Let's see, that's an acceleration. There's going to be a lot of scheming going on. If I don't thread out, I win, I think. And I'm just going to roll into it, and we're going to see what happens. I'm not going to think about it. We're just going to do it. Wow, I cannot believe how horribly that went. We were just cruising. I was feeling cocky. Couldn't believe I was just going to beat Hela down so fast and so easy. And yeah, in my Nemesis rankings, this is the first time I've faced the White Queen. And when I ranked these Nemesis sets, I put her as a Psy. Like, oh, that's going to be annoying. But this is, she's a scoop. She came out and somehow I was immediately stunned and confused, just completely locked down. Now, the obligation didn't help, but yeah, wow. Wow, did that shut me down. Now, I'm not going to scoop, but if that had come out earlier, that would have slowed me down so much. Wow, okay, I get it now. All right, so we're drawing 6 cards. We need to focus back, ready to rumble. None of this matters. Yeah, I actually didn't draw a single, yeah. It doesn't matter. We just need to not scheme out, and then Odin, assuming there's no guards in the deck, so Odin can just win. But we need to not scheme out. Okay, So we're adding 2 to the main. It's going up to 9 of 18. 2 because of that. Hela is scheming for 2, 3, 4, 5. 0 boost. Okay, okay. So that's 14. Blob puts it at 15 of 18. So she schemes with Villainous. If she gets a boost higher than 1, we lose. One, if damage from this attack defeats an ally, place 2 threat in the main scheme. Putting 2 on the main. Goes to 17 of 18. Odin attacks for 3. And we win. Oh my goodness. By the skin of our teeth. Man, I hope I didn't do anything wrong in this playthrough, because it doesn't get any closer than that. I think if I made even the tiniest mistake somewhere, that would nullify this, because surely it would have contributed to me losing. But, you know, I won't know until I go back and watch it. So for now, I'm going to be real happy that we managed to eke out a win. And what an incredibly fun way to play Hela, just to rush her down, tear through her guards, tear through the side schemes as fast as you can, and just get Odin out of there and then go for the win. That was awesome. Assuming I actually did win. That's what we're going with for now. Whew. These last couple games have been intense. Ultron gave me everything I could handle, and I thought I had Hela in the bag until the last turn. Well, okay. Let's see what's next, I guess. I don't know what else to say. That was nuts. So yeah. Let's wrap it up and see what we get next time. So as we move into the second to last one, I hope we can just keep the momentum going and get just another incredibly fun, exciting, interesting game. Gonna see who the last 2 are. Only 2 left. That's crazy. That's crazy. It feels like just the other day I wrapped all these up. Okay. Okay. Who is left? Who is left? It is going to be Kang. Whew, speaking of making mistakes, I always have a hard time with Kang. I always feel like I'm missing something. Well, we're definitely finishing strong. He's tough. He is real tough. And I've actually never even played him on Expert. I've just never tried it. So we're definitely going to give it a go. Whew, he's got a lot going on. But a very, very cool scenario. Let's see who he is paired up with. Oh, the Iron Spider Sinister 6. An incredibly difficult modular set. Well, I know who the 2 heroes are that are left. They're both strong. So, well, that's going to be a tough one. That is going to be a tough matchup. It was just 7 or 8 really, really beefy minions hanging out with Kang, whose set is already pretty tough. He gets a lot of either extra damage or extra threat. He's got a lot going on. It's a longer scenario, so plenty of time for the Iron Spider Sinister 6 to come out and cause me some trouble. But who of the last 2 of my 12 favorites, not including Miles Morales and Spider-Woman, because they didn't get included for reasons that didn't end up mattering, which one of them is it going to be of the 2 remaining? I will tell you now, just to add a little, I don't know, suspense. There is a Guardian left and a Champion left. Which one will this be? It's the Guardian, Venom. Love, love, love Venom. I know I've played him somewhat recently in the ASMR game, but he definitely had to be in this box. He's in my probably top 6. I just really, really, really like Venom. I love that control style, and he plays it so well. And he's either going to be in protection or leadership, and I am happy to play him either way, though I kind of hope it's leadership just because when I played him last time, it was protection against Venom Goblin. So just for the sake of variety, I hope it's leadership. But it is protection. Okay, well, get 2 in a row. We can keep the buddy paper on the table, and I'll try to do something a little bit different that I did last time. But there's a lot of variety in protection, so I can do something different. I might try a repurpose build. I haven't done that with Venom. That could be fun. That could be really fun, actually. Will it be strong enough to take on Kang and this Sinister Six? I don't know. But I think I'll probably go that direction. And so that means I know who the final matchup is. And I'm real pleased with it. I'm real pleased. So these next 2 games are gonna be something else. A lot to look forward to. Very exciting. Thank you so much. I've said this 10 times over the course of the month, but I mean it so much every single time. I'm just, I post one of these, and it's not long before I already know 1 or 2 people have watched it, enjoyed it, left nice comments, and it's just such a nice feeling. This has been such an exciting month for the channel. I'm just so grateful to you all. So thank you so much for joining me for these. I'm really looking forward to seeing you next time we get up in game, and I hope you'll take care. Bye-bye.